Okay, hello. This time we are going to study syntax, which is a very interesting subfield of linguistics, which has to do with the study of the grammatical relations between words and other units within the sentence. In our previous lessons, we saw the study of morphology, which has to do with the internal structure of words, how the words are compound, how they are formed. But this time we are going to study the relationships between the words in a given sentence. That means that we're going to study word order and also sentence formation. Okay? So these are some other important lines. We should know that languages differ not only in sounds, but also in the different ways in which we can put together, in which we can organize the different units in the sentences. Okay? It also has to do with the rules about how words can be put together and how they differ according to a given language, according to the dialect, social groups, and time frame. If I give you this sentence, for example, the sentence that you can see here, they know not what they do, you may immediately think that this sentence is ungrammatical. That is, that it doesn't follow the rules that we know in grammar, right? But for modern English, it was totally normal to use sentences like that, like this one, okay? They know not what they do. So this means, people, that syntax also changes over time. And even though the word meanings haven't changed, the syntax has. Okay, so this is very important to take into account, that the different rules can change over time, and it depends on different factors. But we are not going to go deeply into that aspect. According to the syntax theory, the syntactic theory is about the rules and principles that determine how the speakers combine words to make meaningful sentences. So in linguistics, syntax is the set of rules, principles, processes that govern the structure of sentences, okay, in a given language, usually including word order. The term syntax, it is also important to know that the term syntax is also used to refer to the study of such principles and processes. So the goal of many syntacticians is to discover these syntactic rules that are common to all languages. And another thing here is that sentences are not just strings of words, in the same way that the words are not just strings of morphemes, just as we saw in the study of morphology, as you remember, right? Um, so there are strict syntactic rules, as you can read here. There are strict syntactic rules about the structure of sentences, how the words are combined in a specific way to reach a certain meaning. Because, as you can see later, we're going to see some sentences that contain the same words but in different order, and that is that we can create meaning according to how we organize the units in a sentence. So we're going to see structure at a phrasal and sentence level. We are not going to study words, because words are studied by in the field of morphology, the internal structure. But this time in syntax, we are going to see the structure at a phrasal and sentence level. So consider these words here: bit, a, the, dog, cat. Okay, you can see that in all of these sentences here, we can see the same words, but they are organized in different way. So they have different meanings because they are organized in a specific way. A cat bit the dog, the cat bit a dog bit the cat, the dog bit a cat. They are organized in different ways and they have different meanings. And these different meanings come about solely from our combinations of words. And this is basically what syntax studies. Okay? Okay, look at these sentences. Kevin saw Susan as opposed to Susan saw Kevin. So they are exactly the same words, right? But they mean two different things because Kevin saw Susan means a different thing than Mary saw Kevin. And that's not because of the actual words used, because the words are the same as you can see here. Kevin saw Susan, Susan saw Kevin. They are the same words, but they mean a different and completely, they mean a different thing, okay? So that's what syntax studies. We can see here other groups of sentences. As you can see here, the cat chased the mouse is put in is the okay. The cat chased the mouse. You can see that this is almost the same sentence, but I added some other words in the sentence so I can make this sentence as long as possible. And the only reason probably why we don't do it is because practical reasons, because of time, right? And but the point here is that in a way it is our knowledge of syntax that we are applying for creating increasingly more complex sentences. So the syntax is part of the grammar of every language, and it consists of the speaker's knowledge of sentences and their structure. Okay, so because of we know the rules of the syntactic rules, we can continue adding more and more words to these sentences here. And this is what we call recursion in syntax. Okay, we can continue adding different words to create a more complex sentence. In other words, it is syntax with which we can expand sentences each time creating a new sentence by adding words to the previous sentence. That is basically what I wanted to say when I show you those sentences. Okay, see these two sentences here. He has what his father had, and his father has what he had. Uh, because of syntax, it is possible to have two sentences with the exact same words but two different meanings. In this case, if you want to get more imaginative, you can think of syntax as a dimension, as an extra dimension that sits on top of these words and constructs a particular relationship between the words. Sometimes you may actually have two sentences with two different orders. For example, here, the judge swore in the new citizens. The judge swore the new citizens in. So in this case, you may actually have two sentences with two different orders that mean the exact same thing. You see, but in this example that you can see here, you have two sentences with the same words, but the words are in different order, but still they mean the same thing. So here, syntax allows us to have the same interpretation of two different word orders, okay? And it is also the syntax that tells us that here in this sentence, let me show you the sentence. Okay. So this is the sentence. It is also syntax that tells us that here in this sentence, although we have the same words that we had in the previous sentences, let me show you the same words here in these two sentences. We have the same words here, but they are in different. They have a different arrangement. It has a different arrangement of words. Uh, but it is not acceptable in English. If you say sore judge that the citizens knew in, this is not acceptable in